Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I'm joined by a very special guest. Clarkson women's hockey player Gabrielle David joins the podcast today. Gabrielle, welcome to the podcast, and how's everything going?
It's going pretty well, actually. Now that COVID is less strict, I'm able to do my things and back to normal.
That's good to hear, and obviously, I wanted to ask you that with things loosening back up in many parts of the country, I guess, does that change your approach for the off-season training for this upcoming year?
Yeah, now I'm training with a trainer, and it's he trains also guys hockey, so like NHL and QHL. So it's pretty nice for that, and I'm happy to be back on the ice and gym and everything opening up.
That's good to hear. Now, let's start off talking about this year's college hockey season. And obviously, it's a little bit different compared to other seasons in the past. What were some of the challenges you and your team faced this year, and how did you try to overcome some of those challenges?
Um, well, I think that the uncertainty played a big part in our season because our schedules for everything was always changing, and at some point we were just allowed to practice with 10 people or 5 or the whole team. So and then sometimes our games were canceled, so it was very hard to be in control for that. But in the second half, we our team was better with that, and we knew things were always changing, so we get used to it.
Yeah, and obviously in this year's ECAC season, you only played three other teams, and you only played Colgate, it felt like, 10 times throughout the entire season. So how did you manage playing only a short amount of teams for this past year's schedule?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard because they knew our systems, and we knew their systems. So we tried to find a way to adjust their playing, and then they were trying to adjust ours. So we were changing our forward check or back check and all our systems. So for that it was hard, and we didn't have a lot of times to do it because we were playing 4 times a week. So we didn't have much practices, but I mean, it's some things that we can grow from that and learn from it.
Yeah, definitely. And I also want to talk about the CAC Championship game that you were a part of against St. Lawrence. You unfortunately lost that game. I just want to ask you, what did you take away from that game overall? And just talk about that overtime goal, because if people were watching that game, it was a bit controversial the way it happened.
Yeah, I mean, it was heartbreaking for sure. You don't want to lose your season like that. But one thing we can learn from it is that everything is possible in season in playoffs. Sorry, and sometimes you just have to let go of those things that you can control. And hockey is can be unfair. So for the future, just control what you can control.
And from your perspective, what was it like watching the officials decide that call? Because watching the game myself, it felt like it took a long time, but I'm assuming being a player on the ice, it must have felt a lot longer than that.
Yeah, yeah, it was terrible to wait because we were in a bad spot, so it wasn't them because if the goal was no goal for them, it's still the game is still on, but for us it was just I don't know, we were trying to stay positive, but then at some point there's not much we were allowed to do. So
Now, from your experience, how is playoff hockey different from regular season hockey, especially in the ECAC?
um well, we were also in the playoff, we were losing 3-0. So and then we came back and scored at 45 seconds of the third period. So in playoffs hockey, everything is possible, and you always have something to believe in. And playoff make you believe in something more than just regular season.
Yeah, definitely. Now, what did you think was the area of your game you improved on the most from this past year?
Um, Probably my shot. I was never someone with a good shot because growing up, I was small, and so and I was always afraid to shoot, and I didn't have confidence because I was oh, I don't have a good shot. But now I'm happy with it, and I know I can score goals shooting a clear shot.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something that a lot of players don't take in consideration, is how they can change their shot to make it more accurate and more harder to score more goals. Is that something you try to work on during the season, even though you think that's an area you improved on?
Yeah, yeah, we had a rapid shot. So after practice or in free times I was always going there with like a couple of teammates and or sometimes just by myself. So I was shooting pucks and trying to catch and release like faster. So that that
Yeah.
was the area.
Now, you obviously didn't play in front of any fans as well this year. Was it an adjustment for yourself not playing in front of that crowd, and what was that like?
Well, at first it sucks because like you want them to give you some energy and like adrenaline, but and like it's fun to impress people and but then at some point like after a couple games like there's not going to be any fans, so you have to like be more focused on yourself and there's no distraction anymore. So
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, you have to bring that energy on the bench as well because
yeah,
watching your team play whenever there was a block shot or a really nice play, your bench went crazy. Was that something your team preached in the locker room,
yeah,
not having the fans there?
yeah, for sure. We tried to like scream and everything every time there was something, like even if it was something small, because we needed that for sure.
Now, how did you deal with all the schedule changes that happened throughout the season? I know you were talking to me earlier. That was one of the biggest challenges your team faced was just dealing with that inconsistency. So, what was your mindset on that, and how did you try to deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard at first because like in hockey, well, for us, we're like used to have like a schedule and it's like, okay, you practice there, there, there. So, but then at some point we kind of adjust ourselves and like at this level, you need to be ready for everything. And like we were just grateful and lucky to play. So it was good at the end of the year.
Now, something that was introduced to college hockey this year was 3-on-3 overtime. As an offensive player like yourself, what was that like having more space on the ice and having more offensive opportunities to score goals?
Well, I want to say it's easier when you have the puck, but then it's hard when you don't have the puck. So it really depends. Like it sucks when you're on the ice and you have to chase the puck, but then once you have it, you need to like keep it. And then for offensive player, it's nice to be free and like keep the puck longer because like in a game you don't have it like 2 seconds on your stick, but then in overtime you can like keep it and like, do your thing. So for that, it's really nice.
Yeah, definitely. And talking to other players, I was told like how defensively minded you have to be during those overtime situations because if you make one little defensive mistake, it can cause an odd man rush. Is that something you noticed being a part of those overtime situations?
Yeah, I mean, it's stressful, but at some point you just, I mean, mistakes are gonna happen, so you have to take also like chances and like make like some risks so you can like have good opportunities. But then I know like defensively you still have to be good, so it's risky and it's touchy.
Now, talk about your off-season training. What does that look like so far, and what do you hope to work on regarding your game for this upcoming season?
Well, when I came back, like not much was open, so like I was working out by myself, so this was a bit like harder to push myself and my limit. But now that everything is opening up, like I think I got like stronger, like in everything, like arms, legs, and core. So for that, it's pretty nice, and my shot is also still better than last year. So I'm I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
Yeah, and if I'm a defender hearing that, I'll be very nervous that your shot just got even better from last year. So that's something that I'm looking forward to see how much it improved compared to your sophomore season.
Thank you.
So I want to start off this podcast and make a little transition and just talk about the beginning of your hockey career and work all the way up to where you are now with Clarkson. So you're from Drummondville, Quebec. Just talk about growing up there and how'd you start playing hockey?
Yeah, Drummondville is like it's a small town, so hockey is not like very popular. But there's not like a lot of females like growing up when I was young. Now it's more popular, but then my dad was playing hockey his whole life, and my brother, so I always wanted to do like my brother. So at the age of like 4 years old, I was like already playing hockey with boys and or my like brother older. So it was fun for that.
And did you have a favorite player growing up that you admired a lot?
Yeah, probably like Alexander Ovechkin. I don't know, just like scores every power play without doing anything. But when I was young, I just remember like he had a lot of really nice goals. And also like 2 years ago, we had a tournament and where they practice, and he was there and like he waved at us. So like that was pretty nice.
That's awesome. And when you ever have you ever attempted to do an Ovechkin celebration after a scoring goal? Because that's one of my favorite parts about his game.
I know, no, I don't really do celebrations, but I wish like for women's hockey we could like do that because it's super nice, but I don't know. There's not a lot of people doing it, so when you do it, you're like cocky and stuff. So
I don't think so at all. At least that's just my opinion. If you ever get a one-timer goal, it's so hard to get. Like you just deserve to be
yeah,
happy and celebrate about it. I understand why some people have to
I
worry
know.
about what other people have to say.
You're right.
So hopefully next year, if you ever get a big time goal, I want to see you jump in front of the class with the fans. I think that'll be awesome.
All right, I'll do that.
Awesome. And we'll look back on this moment when it happens and we'll say it all started off here so that we can
Right,
both remember.
you're right.
Now, before Clarkson, you played for the QCHL for the, hopefully I pronounced this team's name properly, Lemieux Titans. What
It's
was it
good.
like playing for that organization and how did you get the opportunity to go there?
It started because I was playing Team Quebec for the Canada games, and the coach was the coach of Limoilou. So like he recruited me because I was playing with him for that tournament. And then like I went there, and I don't know if you know what is a CEGEP because you guys don't have it in like University of like USA. So it's like it's an in between high school and like university. So you do 2 or 3 years there. So it's like it makes you prepare for like harder like stuff. So for me, like it was really helpful to like go there and like have time to to like play hockey still. And like the league was great, but it's not like the best league compared to like NCAA. But the team was awesome, and I still have like good friends, and my memories over there are like unforgettable.
Yeah, just talk about your experience in the QCHL and what did you take away from it overall?
Um, well, I was, cause like our team was like always winning like 6-0 and everything. Like we had a really good team, so like I took more confidence, and my play like upgraded because like when you keep the puck and you can make moves, like it gets you like another part of your game that maybe in NCAA I couldn't have the first year and stuff.
Now, I have to ask you, just how did playing for Limalu help prepare you for college hockey with Clarkson?
Um, I think I was more mature because of my style on the ice. I was able to do my stuff, and like yeah, just the fact that I'm like 2 years older than everyone because of CJEP. So like it really helped me like on and off the ice with like apartment and like how to eat and everything. So for that, like I'm grateful because I was more mature.
Now, you also got to play for Team Canada in the World Championships before college as well. Just talk about what it was like getting the chance to represent your country and how did you get the opportunity to go be a part of that team as well?
I mean, it was the best feeling ever. Like I'm still proud of myself and my teammates because that's something that you can only have maybe one time in a lifetime. But we don't always realize in the moment that, and it always like goes so fast that when you're in it, you're just like, oh, it's fun. But then it's after you're just like, oh, that's something I'll remember for the rest of my life.
And what's the selection process like for Team Canada to be a part of that team in the World Championships?
So you have like a camp in May usually, and you do like testing, fitness, and stuff. It's only like that you don't like go on the ice, nothing. It's maybe 4 days, I think, yeah. And then after you go in August, and you still have like to pass your testing and everything and get better, because they're really like they preach that like if you're in good shape. And then it's like a 1 week camp, and if you make the team, like you stay another week to play a series against the US. And then after they watch you like your the beginning of your season, and then they invite like the best players for January.
Now, you won a silver medal in that tournament. What does that medal mean to you, and what did you learn overall playing in that World Championship experience?
Um, I mean, it was hard to like lose because like at some point we were there to win the goal. So for us, the silver was like not really like. something fun. But then at the end of the day, like we're still proud and like what we accomplished was really nice, and we learned more in the failure. So like in some point, like I'm not grateful that we lost, but then in the future it's gonna make us stronger.
Yeah, definitely. I have to ask you, where do you keep that medal?
It's still in my room, actually. Yeah, I still have it.
That's awesome. And do you ever like look at it once in a while, or do you not really peek at it at all?
Yeah, once in a while I do when I clean my room and everything, but yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I want to ask you now about your recruitment process. What was that experience like for you, and what made you want to go to the U.S. and play college hockey with Clarkson?
I remember I was playing like in Vermont for a tournament, and then the coaches from Clarkson, they wanted to talk to me at the end. So then I talked to them, and they were like really friendly. And then I had a chance to go visit because it's only like 3 hours away from home. So it was like not far at all. So me and my family went there, and it was super nice. Like that, and this same year they won like the Frozen Four back to back. So I was like, oh, like I want to be in a good team and be able to get better in practice, because sometimes like people are like, oh, you won't play or stuff like that, but then it's in practice that you get better. So if you have the chance to play against like good players, it's gonna make you better.
Yeah, definitely. And talk about the coaching staff playing under Coach Matt DeRocher. What's he like as a coach, both on and off the ice?
Matt is really great for real. Okay, like his system is really good. Like he knows how to adjust like his systems against people, and he does a lot of like video at home and analyzing the other teams, and like he's always willing to make changes for the best. And I think he's a super great coach, like on one, and also like for the rest of our team.
Now, what was the biggest adjustment you had to make to college hockey? Was it the speed of the game or just the mental side of the game, making quicker decisions with the puck?
Yeah, I think well both of them, like the speed and the fact that you don't have time and space to do your play, so like you have to be faster in like all aspects of your game. That was something that was harder at first.
Now, just talk a little bit about your freshman season. What was that like for yourself? What did you take away from it? Because your team was obviously gearing up for a tournament run, but
Hmm.
unfortunately, because of the pandemic, everything got shut down, and we're kind of in the state of the world we
Yeah.
are in today because of that.
Yeah, it was a memorable season for sure. It was like a complete different world than what I was used to it. So the experience was unreal, and then I took every opportunities to learn, watch, and get better from like the older people, and also had like a good personal season. But like I was playing also with amazing people that helped me like get there.
Yeah, and one of those people was obviously Ella Shelton, a senior defenseman when you were a freshman. What was she like as a teammate, both on and off the ice? So when you got the chance to play with her your freshman year.
Yeah. Ella is a really good leader, like on off the ice. Like, and she's also like an amazing and respectful human, and like she plays with like a lot of maturity. Like for me, she's a role model to follow for sure.
And obviously, you get to play with Katrin Monaghan as well. Talk about her as a teammate, both on and off the ice.
Well, she's one of my best friends, so like we get along well, and like we like she loves hockey as much as me, so we're passionate about it, and like we always try to like make plays and like uh, off the ice we always talk about hockey everything, like so we do everything together, so we have like a good connection like on and off the ice, so that's nice to play with someone that you're best friends with.
And the last teammate I want to ask you about is Nicole Gosling. She really stood out to me as one of the best freshmen in college hockey. What was it like to be her teammate this year, and how excited are you to play with her for 2 or 3 more years?
Yeah, well, she's really good. Like I have to say, she reminds me of Ella Shelton in a way. She's a bit younger, but like her play is like very mature too, and like she's confident with the puck, and she can make good plays, and she see the like the game well. So like I'm excited to play with her like 2 and 3 more years.
Now, I want one last question before we get to the non-hockey segment. Is just for all the fans that are listening to this podcast, just talk about your Clarkson hockey experience overall and why it's made you a better player for yourself today.
Um, well, I really love this place because like there's no like football and everything, so hockey is like the most popular sport over there. So the fans are really like happy for us and like they love us, and the hockey part is really great, and we have like good like equipment manager, like a training, and our staffs is like super great, and everything they do for us, they do like 100%, and they invest in us. So that's really fun to know that like people are like there for you and not just there for the money.
Yeah, definitely. And that's obviously good to hear from a fan perspective as well, that they care about you guys as a team, not just for other factors. Now we're down to a segment I like to call the non-hockey segment. We're asking some non-hockey questions and try to get to know you a little bit more off the ice. So my first question to you is, if there was a movie made about your life, who would you want to play yourself?
Um, doesn't matter if it's a boy, because there's one that
No, no.
okay. I want to say like Harry Styles. Like I love his energy and how he dresses, and like he doesn't care about people's opinion, and like he wants to make like this world better, and like without judgment and stuff. So I really like him.
That's a good answer. I think for myself, I don't know. That'll be tough. Probably someone like I'm a big Parks and Rec fan, so probably Rob Lowe. I think he'll
Wow.
be a cool person to play myself, especially since he has his own podcast as well. So we have that type of similarity.
Yeah, that's nice.
Uh, Next non-hockey question is: what is something you wished more people knew about yourself, just besides being a good hockey player?
I'll say that I love trying new things, or like I'm very flashy. Like I don't dress like all black and stuff like that. Like I'm very extrovert, and like not a lot of things scare or stress me out. Like I live day by day, and I still like don't have an agenda for school. So like I just remember everything. I'm just like, hey, I need to do this, but then I don't write it down. Like I know a lot of people have like a big schedules, but for me it's like I just remember everything.
That's a good talent to have, because I don't have that talent at all. I have to write everything down, especially regarding my schedule, because if I don't, I will definitely forget something that is important. So I'm very impressed that you can
Yeah.
remember everything. Next non-hockey question is: if you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say and why?
Um, I'll say that I'm a big believer that with a good mindset, everything is possible. Like, you can be the most in shape person, you can be like the faster or whatever, but what will make you go higher is like what's in your head. And like, I read a book, it's called Get Out of Your Way by Russ. Like, he's a singer, I don't know if you know him, but it was like a really good book, and it was like really inspirational. And I think I read it in one day. It's a small book, but it was really good.
I know I definitely have to check that book out, because I think that's important to have that mindset. I'm always trying to work hard to achieve my dreams, and I hope everyone that listens to this does the same thing as well.
Yeah.
What is your biggest pet peeve? I'm curious. What bothers you?
I want to say someone like who screams all the time. I don't know why, it just annoys me when someone is loud.
I get that. I get that. I think
Yeah.
for myself is probably bad drivers. It
So
could
yeah,
it
I
could really
honk a
bother
lot.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm not a guy who honks. I just get really irritated behind the wheel and just deal with it. But no,
Like,
it really bothers me that some people just don't know how to like drive better, I guess, if that's
yeah,
the right word.
you're right.
So
That's
that's
a good
probably
one.
my
I
big
didn't think
pet.
about that.
Yeah, I know. It's just you're trying to get somewhere and you're behind a slow driver, or you're just
Yeah.
trying to like vibe in the car and someone's driving like 90 miles per hour right behind you. So
Mhm.
just that really bothers me a lot. And that's the answer I always give throughout these non hockey segment questions.
Nice.
Now, you mentioned Russ. He's obviously a rapper, but what music do you like to listen to? Who's your go to artist?
Um, I think Justin Bieber is my favorite artist for real. But I listen to everything mostly. Like I love raps for sure, and I also love music and stuff like that. So like I can be calm and also like hype. It depends my mood. Like I love country too. I don't have like a lot of country songs, but when I have them, like I do still love them.
Mhm. Yeah, no, definitely a big music guy myself, and I'm a huge Justin Bieber fan. I think
Yeah.
he's a great artist, and his newer stuff that he's creating is
Yep.
awesome. I love the song he made with the kid Leroy,
Yeah, I know.
"Stay." I don't know if you heard that this
Oh
weekend. It
yeah, I
was
did.
It's a very catchy song, so something I've been listening to a lot lately.
Do you know like his brand?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've seen a lot of hockey players wear it. I think Austin Matthews rocks it a
Yeah,
few times before Leafs games.
yeah, that's so nice.
Yeah, no, it's a great shirt. Unfortunately, I don't want to spend the amount of money it
Yeah, I
is to get
know.
it, but it is what it is. Sometimes, you have to pay a little bit to look nice.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of style, a lot of people on your team said you have the best style on the team, and I have to agree with them on that. I think your style is awesome. But in your opinion, who has the best style on the team?
Um, I want to say Morgan Helgeson. She's from Minnesota. She dresses like super cute girly girl. Like I don't know how to explain. She's like simple, but not that simple. So she has a great style. Like everyone like thinks she's also like uh dresses well, I guess. Yeah.
Who's the funniest on the team?
Uh, I don't know. I want to say me and Stephanie Markowski. I think we're really funny together. Yeah.
Now, final non-hockey question is, what is your favorite movie?
Mm, Probably like Hunger Games. It's been a long time, but when I was young, I don't know. I just love that movie. I don't know why, but it's one of my favorite ones.
Now, back to some hockey questions. Now, my first question to you is, what advice would you give a younger player who's trying to pursue a Division One college hockey scholarship?
I don't know, just like always push your limit to eventually find that like there's no limit in life, and like you have to be different in some way to like to be better. Like usually, like people are always like the same style and stuff, but if you have something different, like people are gonna like remember you.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you on that. Another question I want to ask is, what should be done to help grow women's hockey, in your opinion?
Mm, I want to say like change like people's perception about women's hockey, but I know it's hard because sometimes like I read comments on like social medias, and people like it makes me sad and like angry because people are mean about like women's hockey, and like they're like remember when the NHL was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be like a 3-on-3 for NHL like All-Star games, and people were like, oh, I'm gonna like pee in that time, or I'm gonna go watch my Pee Wee Kids, and it just makes me so sad. But like I'm saying to myself, like if we can like connect with more like good people and people that are like are minding about that, like maybe we can find a way to have like something like great one day.
Yeah, definitely. And I think social media doesn't show the entire viewpoint
Mm,
of women's hockey. I think it's just a lot of trolls on the internet just trying to make people upset. So I think there's a lot of people that love women's hockey, and I'm trying to do my part, starting this podcast to help grow and get people to know the players a little bit, at least revolving the college hockey
yeah,
side of things.
that's super nice what you're doing for us.
Well, Well, I appreciate that. It means a lot. And another announcement I have to make before we end off this podcast is that Gabrielle will be joining College Hockey Talk as a sponsored athlete. She'll be contributing to the podcast a little bit as well. So I'm excited to welcome you onto our team. And do you have anything you want to say about that?
Well, I'm really excited because like never in my life I had something like that, or like I was part of something, so it means a lot to me.
Yeah, and especially since you'll be joining your four other teammates, Katrin, Nicole Gosling, and Stephanie and Mira as well. So it should be fun. I'm excited to work with some members of the Clarkson women's hockey team and to
Yeah,
help grow college hockey. It should be fun.
yeah.
Now, do you have any shout outs you'd like to give to any of your teammates, family members, or friends before we let you go?
Yeah, well, I like definitely my parents because I feel like I don't always like thank them enough for everything they've done for me, and like the time they spend on me and like watch my games and the money they spend on me. So like I want to thank them, like even if I usually like don't say, hey, thank you, mom, for that. Like we don't do that to our parents, but I just wanted to thank them.
Well, I want to say thank you, Gabrielle, for coming on the podcast. It really means a lot to me taking time out of your day and talking with me. I can't thank you enough. You're obviously an amazing hockey player, but you're a great person as well. So I just want to let you know that. And thanks for doing this. It means a lot.
Thank you very much, Matt. I appreciate that.
Now,